My husband's ultimate betrayal, a story that will shatter your faith in love. Warning: this story contains mature themes and emotional content that may be triggering. I thought I was losing my mind. For months, I'd been getting these feelings. You know, the ones, that gnawing sensation in your gut when something's just off. My husband Paul would come home late, shower immediately, guard his phone like it contained nuclear codes. But every time I tried to voice my concerns, he'd make me feel like I was being paranoid, needy, pathetic. "You're imagining things, babe," he'd say with that condescending smile. "Maybe you should talk to someone about your trust issues." Trust issues. Right. After 24 years of marriage. I'm Sarah, 41, stay-at-home mom to 2 incredible kids who deserve so much better than what I'm about to tell you. My husband Paul, 48, works in finance, or at least that's what he tells me when he's gone for 12 hours straight. We have Eric, 18, a senior who's head over heels for his girlfriend Amy, and Mary, 15, who's sharp as a tack and sees everything. Here's what I didn't see coming: the absolute nuclear bomb that was about to detonate in the middle of our seemingly normal suburban life. Last Tuesday started like any other day. Paul was rushing around, grabbing his phone, muttering about some big meeting. That's when it happened, the moment that would haunt me forever. He was closing apps on his iPhone, that compulsive habit of his, when I caught a glimpse of something that made my world tilt sideways. "I miss eating your sausage." The message was from Amy, my son's girlfriend. The girl I'd welcomed into our home like a daughter. My hands started shaking. The coffee mug slipped from my fingers, shattering against the kitchen floor like my entire reality. "You okay, babe?" Paul called out, not even looking up. "Fine," I managed to whisper, my voice barely audible over the blood rushing in my ears. "Just fine." But I wasn't fine. I was drowning. You know that feeling when you know you shouldn't look, but you can't stop yourself? Like watching a car crash in slow motion? That was me for the next 72 hours. I became a detective in my own home, and what I found made me physically sick. His computer, a hidden folder labeled personal files, innocent enough, right? Wrong. It was a digital graveyard of downloaded porn, BDSM videos, and screenshots of Amy's Instagram photos. Not inappropriate ones, she was fully clothed in all of them. But seeing them saved there, knowing he was looking at pictures of my son's girlfriend while I slept next to him, I actually threw up. His phone, during those precious moments when he showered or stepped outside, I became a master spy. The messages between Paul and Amy weren't just inappropriate, they were soul-crushing. They talked about me like I was some pathetic joke, something to be mocked and discarded. "Paul, can you believe she tried to wear that dress last night? Like watching a sausage trying to burst its casing, embarrassing for everyone involved. Amy, Lamau, she's so old, she probably thinks it's still trendy. You deserve someone who actually takes care of themselves. Paul, at least you're fun to be around. Living with her is like existing in slow motion, boring, predictable, dead inside. Amy, you need someone who can keep up with you, not drag you down into middle-aged mediocrity." Each message was a knife to the heart. But the worst part, the casual cruelty, the laughing emojis, the way they bonded over tearing me apart. I sat in my kitchen at 2 a.m., surrounded by family photos on the walls, vacations, birthdays, moments when we actually seemed happy, and realized I was living with a stranger. The man smiling in those pictures didn't exist. Maybe he never had. Remember that paranoid feeling I mentioned? 3 weeks ago, I found a black lace thong in our bedroom. Not mine, definitely not Mary's. At the time, I convinced myself it was laundry mix-up, maybe something that stuck to our clothes at the laundromat. God, I was such an idiot. Now I knew exactly whose it was. The mental image of Amy in our bed, in our sacred space, Made me want to burn the whole house down. But here's the thing that really messed with my head. I started noticing Paul's unusual behavior began exactly 5 months ago. Right when Amy turned 18. Coincidence? I think the fork not. I became obsessed with finding proof. Every day while Paul was at work, I searched our house like a crime scene investigator. The hidden stash, behind old Christmas decorations in our basement, I found a box that made my skin crawl. Blindfolds, handcuffs, massage oils, and costumes, a Catholic schoolgirl outfit and a French-made uniform. The schoolgirl outfit was Amy's size. Dating apps. This man, my husband of 20 years, had active profiles on 3 different dating apps. His age preference: 18 to 22. His bio read, experienced gentleman seeking young, adventurous companion. Discretion guaranteed. I screenshot everything, my hands shaking so badly I could barely hold the phone steady. Financial records, OnlyFans subscriptions, payments to cam girls, charges at hotels I'd never been to. Thousands of dollars. Money that should have gone to our kids' college funds was funding his sick fantasies. I couldn't keep it inside anymore. The kids were at school, Paul was working late, probably with Amy, and I was alone with the weight of this knowledge crushing my chest. I set up a Zoom call. Professional, controlled, civilized. That's what I told myself. The moment Paul's face appeared on screen, I knew this wouldn't be civilized. His hair was disheveled, his face flushed, sweat beading on his forehead. He looked like a man whose world was about to implode. Paul, we need to talk about what's been going on, I started, fighting to keep my voice steady. Context, he shouted, cutting me off. You don't understand the context. I've seen the messages, Paul. Between you and Amy. I have screenshots of everything. His face went from red to purple. None of that happened. You're making things up. You're trying to destroy our family. Paul, I have proof. We need to discuss how we're going to handle this with the kids' dash. He slammed his fist on the desk so hard his camera shook. You have no right to take my kids away from me. You're ruining everything. The man on that screen wasn't my husband. He was a stranger, unhinged and desperate. His eyes were wild, unfocused, dangerous. Paul, you need to calm down, Dash. I don't need to calm down. You're overreacting. You're destroying our family. He kept screaming context over and over, like a broken record, but never explained what he meant. His words came out in stutters, his hands shaking as he gripped papers on his desk. That's when the real fear hit me. This wasn't just about infidelity anymore. This was about safety, mine and my kids. I'm ending this call, I whispered. You can't hang up on me. You can't just dash. I clicked end call and immediately called my lawyer. Within 24 hours, my entire life changed. My brother connected me with a lawyer who doesn't mess around. We're talking full-scale legal warfare. Amy's mother, I drove to her house and told her everything. She confiscated Amy's phone and gave me their entire chat history. Amy's reaction? She sobbed and declared she and Paul are in love. Her mother looked like she'd aged 10 years in 10 minutes. The kids, this was the hardest part. I picked up Eric and Mary from school and drove straight to my brother's house. Sitting in his living room, surrounded by the safety of family, I told them everything. Mary exploded with fury. That sick freak. And Amy, how could she do this to our family? Eric went quiet. Scary quiet. The kind of quiet that comes before a storm. I want to see a therapist, he finally said. I need help processing this. My 18-year-old son, showing more maturity than his father ever had. Here's where it gets really twisted. Amy's completely brainwashed. According to her mother, Amy insists their relationship only became physical after she turned 18. but she admits Paul was her mentor and friend before that, starting when she was 14 and began dating Eric. 4 years of grooming. For 14 years. Amy told her mother, "You'll never understand what we have. He's a real man who appreciates me. Sarah's just jealous because I take better care of him than she ever could." When shown screenshots of Paul's dating profiles, Amy claimed I photoshopped them. When confronted with evidence of his cheating, she said I was controlling and manipulative. The girl is living in a fantasy world, and Paul is the puppet master pulling all the strings. My lawyer moved fast. Within a week. Temporary custody of Mary. Restraining order against Paul. Temporary child support. Paul banned from contacting us. We're staying at my brother's house, he's got security cameras, deadbolts, the works. Paul's been calling my phone dozens of times a day, but I refuse to answer. Every call gets documented as evidence. Eric's been to therapy twice. He's not himself, quiet, shell-shocked, processing the fact that his father betrayed him in the worst possible way. But he's strong, and he's getting help. Mary's anger has turned to sadness. She's remembering all the times Paul interacted with her friends, realizing now how inappropriate it was. One friend told her Paul used to position himself to get good views of them, complimenting their yoga pants and asking if they were popular girls. "I'm mortified that happened in my house, under my watch. Here's what really makes my blood boil. Paul has been a predator hiding in plain sight. His dating app history shows a clear pattern: young women, barely legal, all fitting the same profile. His browser history revealed memberships to sugar daddy websites, arrangements with college students, payments for companionship. This wasn't just about Amy. She was just the most convenient target. The restraining order exists because I genuinely believe Paul is dangerous. His reaction during our Zoom call, his desperation, his complete disconnect from reality, it all points to someone who's lost control and might do anything to get it back. The saddest part of this whole nightmare? Amy's complete breakdown of reality. Despite Paul initially ghosting her when everything exploded, they're seeing each other again. Amy's mother is beside herself. She sneaks out at 3 a.m., Amy's mom told me through tears. I wake up and her room is empty. I know she's with him, but what can I do? She's 18. She thinks she's in love. Amy's threatened to run away permanently if her mother kicks her out. She refuses therapy, refuses to see doctors, refuses to acknowledge that she's being manipulated by a master predator. She blames me for taking away her man and believes I'm jealous of their real love. It's heartbreaking and infuriating at the same time. Here's what I want everyone to know: there is hope. Yes, my marriage is over. Yes, my family is shattered. Yes, the man I trusted with my life turned out to be a monster. But we're surviving. We're getting stronger. Eric is in therapy and showing incredible resilience. Mary is processing her anger in healthy ways. We're all getting tested for STDs, clean so far, thank God. We're building a new life based on truth, not lies. As for Paul, justice is coming. I can't go into details because the legal case is ongoing, but let's just say the evidence against him is overwhelming. His predatory behavior will have consequences that last the rest of his life. Amy, I pray she'll eventually see the truth. Sometimes it takes losing everything to realize you never had anything real in the first place. Epilogue. What I've learned. To anyone listen this who sees red flags in their own relationship, trust your instincts. That nagging feeling in your gut. It's usually right. To parents with teenage children, know who your kids are spending time with. Pay attention to the adults in their lives. Predators often hide behind masks of respectability. To anyone who's been betrayed, you are not alone. You are not crazy. You are not responsible for someone else's choices to hurt you. And to Paul, if you're reading this, you destroyed our family. but you didn't destroy us. We're going to be okay. Better than okay. We're going to thrive. The truth always comes out eventually. Always. This story is ongoing. Updates will follow as the legal proceedings continue and our healing journey progresses. Thank you to everyone who has shown support, it means more than you know. If you or someone you know is experiencing manipulation or abuse, please reach out for help. You deserve better. You deserve truth. You deserve love that doesn't come with conditions or cruelty.
10 years ago, I thought I was dating a real-life fairy tale princess. Today, I'm grateful she had the courage to break up with me. This is the story of how losing love taught me what love actually means. Picture this, a 23-year-old woman walking through downtown in a flowing lavender dress, complete with lace sleeves and delicate pearl buttons. Her hair cascaded in soft waves, adorned with tiny silver clips that caught the sunlight. She looked like she'd stepped straight out of a storybook. That was Sarah. And yes, that was her everyday look. We'd been friends in college, but started dating after she graduated. What I initially called her princess syndrome wasn't about being spoiled or entitled. Sarah was incredibly kind and hardworking. No, this was about her complete transformation into a fairy tale character the moment she left her office each day. Her wardrobe read like a Victorian novel, flowing skirts that swished when she walked, blouses with intricate embroidery, and accessories that seemed to have their own stories. She ran a popular fashion blog, spent hours sewing pieces for her Etsy store, and had built a genuine community around her unique style. At first, I was completely captivated. How could I not be? She was stunning, creative, and utterly confident in her choices. When we walked together, she moved with such grace that her elaborate outfit seemed perfectly natural on her. But then came the stares. Every single outing became a public performance. People didn't just glance, they stopped mid-conversation, nudged their friends, and pointed. I watched strangers angle their phones for secret photos, teenagers giggle and take selfies with her in the background. One afternoon at a cafe, I noticed the guy at the next table pretending to text while clearly photographing her intricate lace blouse. Another time at the mall, a group of kids followed us for 10 minutes, whispering about whether she was a real princess. The attention made my stomach churn. I felt like we were always on stage, unable to simply exist together without an audience. I tried talking to her about it. Gently, I suggested maybe toning things down for certain occasions. Her response was sweet but missed the point entirely. She stopped wearing her beloved flower crowns when we went out together. The elaborate dresses, flowing skirts, and fairy tale accessories remained, and so did the stares. Here's where I need to be honest about my own shortcomings. I convinced myself I was protecting her, but looking back, I was trying to change her. I worried people wouldn't take her seriously. When her new job embraced her style and colleagues called her their fashionable mascot, I felt frustrated instead of happy for her. I kept thinking about how her brilliance was being overshadowed by lace and ruffles. The truth I couldn't admit then. Part of me was embarrassed. Part of me wanted a girlfriend who could blend in, who wouldn't draw every eye in the room. I told myself it was about her safety, her reputation, her future success. But really, it was about my own discomfort with standing out. I suggested she was attention-seeking when she delighted in little girls asking if she was a real princess. I criticized her blog and the hours she spent creating content that brought joy to thousands of followers. I was so focused on how the world saw her that I stopped seeing her at all. The breakup came out of nowhere for me, though I now realize she'd been considering it for weeks. She arrived at my apartment after work, wearing a soft pink lace blouse and flowing floral skirt. But something in her eyes was different, serious, resolved. When I jokingly asked if she was breaking up with me, expecting her usual laugh, she looked genuinely guilty. "We need to talk," she said quietly. She explained how we wanted different futures. I dreamed of leaving the city for somewhere quieter, more peaceful. She thrived on urban energy and the creative community she'd built. I wanted her to move in with me, she needed her independence and her city life. But the part that stung most was when she said I'd become controlling. She was right, though I couldn't see it then. Every suggestion to tone it down had chipped away at her confidence. Every worried comment about what others might think had made her question herself. The breakup was surprisingly amicable. We both cried. We both acknowledged our love for each other. But we also both knew we'd grown incompatible in fundamental ways. Fast forward a decade. I'm 33 now, married to an incredible woman named Lisa for 4 years. We have a beautiful daughter who's about to turn 3. Lisa is a marathon runner and passionate baker. Weekend mornings, she's out conquering miles while I make coffee and plan our day. Weekend afternoons, our kitchen becomes her laboratory as she experiments with new recipes, filling our home with the scent of fresh bread and chocolate chip cookies. The difference? I learned to be her biggest cheerleader. When she started training for her first marathon, I researched nutrition plans and learned about recovery techniques. When she wanted to start a small baking business, I helped her set up social media accounts and drove to farmers markets to sell her goods. I realized that loving someone means celebrating what makes them unique, not trying to dim their light so you feel more comfortable. Sarah and I are still friends on social media. We don't talk, but we like each other's posts occasionally. She's married now to another woman who also has a distinctive style, less fairy tale princess, more and of Green Gables prairie aesthetic. They live on a farm together, and every photo radiates genuine happiness. Seeing her with someone who celebrates her exactly as she is fills me with gratitude, not jealousy. She found her person, someone who sees her elaborate morning routine as beautiful, not burdensome. Someone who probably helps her adjust her flower crowns and takes pride in walking beside such a creative, confident woman. My daughter is almost 3, and already she has strong opinions about what she wants to wear. Some days she insists on wearing her superhero cape to the grocery store. Other days, she demands to wear every single bracelet she owns at once. My wife and I look at each other and smile. Whatever makes you happy, sweetheart, we tell her. Because I learned something important from losing Sarah, the right person for you isn't someone you want to change. The right person is someone whose uniqueness makes your world more colorful, not more complicated. 10 years ago, I thought love meant protecting someone from the world's judgment. Now I know love means standing beside them and facing that world together, flower crowns and all. Sarah taught me that lesson, even though she had to break my heart to do it. For that, I'll always be grateful to my fairy tale princess who was brave enough to find her happy ending elsewhere.